Hello everyone and welcome to today's art stream. Fingers crossed everything is working okay, it seems to be. But yes, I hope everyone's had a great week so far. It's really warm here in the UK right now. We're having a bit of a heat wave and most of you are probably more than aware that a lot of us Brits do not handle heat very well, so slightly dying of heat here. But never mind. Call me Kramer, that's really awesome. Oh, well, fantastic. I'm very pleased you landed that job you are after. Congratulations, and I hope you ride the vibes for the rest of this afternoon. And yes, that means it's time for spicy characters, which today means a very cool feral Tiefling character is who we're going to work on today. They have a very cool kind of pirate / cowboy style design. They've got very cool spindly wings. And yeah, we're gonna work on them today. So, as you can see, I've literally just finished the sketch stage, so we're going to be working on line art today. I believe last week someone asked if I was going to be working on line art anytime soon. So if that person turns up to chat today, then they will be rewarded for their patience. Anyway, the very first thing to do when I am working on line art is to resize the canvas. Now, because in this case we've got a canvas that is quite square in shape, because obviously the wings push the width out a little, we are going to go for a canvas that is going to be roughly 4,000 pixels square in order to get the size we need. So I'm just going to wait a few moments for that resize to... Oh shit, that wasn't on percentage, was it? I hope not. Sometimes I accidentally scale by percentage rather than pixels, and that's not a good thing to do, because it then means I've scaled my canvas by 4,000%, but thankfully that hasn't happened here. So, once we've done that, the next thing to do is we're just going to take away the rough kind of silhouette. I do that often when I'm showing a commission to a client, so they can kind of see the rough silhouette of a character a little easier. But we don't need that for line art. So what I'm going to do first, I'm actually going to take away the wings and the tail. We're going to focus on doing line art for her body first. So we are just going to turn down the opacity on that there. Actually, no, what we're going to do is we are actually going to, firstly, what color is our background? Okay, our background's already recolored, that's good. We are going to merge this layer together, make sure it's still on multiply, just so we don't have so many layers to be worrying about. Oh, Lizzo, thank you so much for the subscription. That is incredibly kind of you. And thank you so much for hanging with me for the whole year. That's fantastic. By the way, apologies if you can't hear kids screaming outside. It is sometime after home time and everyone's out enjoying the weather, which, you know, they should be, so I forgive them for that. I don't mind, you know. It's nice, you know, people get to enjoy the sunshine before it goes away. So with our canvas resize, we can get straight on with our line work. Now, I'm going to start with I think we're going to start with a size 9 and go from there. And for the line art colour, I usually go about 2/3 down the grey spectrum, grab a nice dark kind of graphite grey. I tend to like my line art to emulate working in pencils, which is why for my brush settings, we are going for the hard round pressure size, that one there. And we're going to turn on the transfer setting, which basically allows it to emulate using traditional media, because that's what I was familiar with before I came to digital art. So it's sort of the natural progression of when I learned digital art. So we're going to get cracked straight in, and usually I begin with the edge, the far edge of the face. So that's working on the cheek, going down the cheekbone, the jaw, finally to the chin. And I make my line up of loads of tiny little strokes. I find that's a lot easier than trying to do everything with one single smooth line. But again, that's personal preference. I have quite unsteady hands and poor eyesight, so I find using lots of tiny lines quite a lot better than using a single smooth line. So I'm going to gently mark in the lines for the ears as well over here. My voice is ever so slightly croaky at the moment because I have friends over at the weekend, and I haven't chatted so much since like before lockdown started, so I'm still dealing with a bit of a crackly voice right now. So do forgive me for that. They might get a little bit ASMR in here today. but then I hear some people say they like that. Alright, let's pop in her jewelry. She's got quite a few kind of earrings and studs and stuff. But yeah, it is a good day so far. I've been working a lot in the garden the last 2 days, making the most of this weather. That's another reason why my voice is a bit shot, because it's really, really hot and I kind of overdid it a bit. But yes, mostly shoveling dirt and gravel, which is really boring, but it's got to be done. But the good news is I did manage to get my vegetables in yesterday. I managed to plant in the vegetable bed. So that's your daily update for how my garden's going. Which I'm sure everyone really needed to know about. Cool, I'm just going to put in a few little diamond-shaped studs over here. Those will have a lot more detail on them when it actually comes to the paint layer. Usually with metallic jewelry and such, most of the detail comes at that stage rather than now. Alright, I'm just going to pop back up to a size, I don't quite want a 9, I think a 7 will do us. I'm just popping the edge of one of the horns, which is under the hat. And then you can just see there's a bit of hair just kind of poking out there. And then the other horn is going straight through the hat. And before I start really kind of popping in the hair details, I think we're going to do the facial features first. So we'll start with the lips and work our way up, dropping back down to a size 6 brush. And then we're just very gently popping those facial features. Again, most of the time when I'm lining, I'm barely touching the tab bit. I use a very, very light touch with line art. Partially because Photoshop isn't really suited to doing line art very well. Lines aren't particularly crisp. So when I first started digital art, I really wanted to, like a lot of people my age, I really wanted to get a really cool like manga style line art because that was what I was really into. Photoshop doesn't really lend itself to that, so I ended up developing a lot more kind of loose, kind of sketchy line art style. Just going around the nose there. I'm going to leave the construction lines for the middle of the nose out there. We don't really need those right now, but I will put in the little nose ring that she has. In fact, I might go all the way down to 4 for this. Another very small diamond there in the middle, but again, a lot of this detail for the jewellery will come across in the paint layer. Onto the eyes, I think. Back to the size 6 brush, I think. 6 is usually quite good for facial features. It gives you enough space to get lots of detail in, but at the same time, you're not you still want the lines to stand out. You don't want to lose them. So I find 6 is kind of like a happy medium. And then just lining in the eyelid. This character has quite kind of, not sleepy eyes, but that kind of looking down at you confidently type expression going on. Okay. Again, a lot of things like eyelashes, just putting in like a couple, less is more sometimes, at least for this style, and then again a lot of detail comes through in the paint layer. Nice big chunky eyebrows. I have a love of chunky eyebrows, so couldn't resist for this character. This character, by the way, is a commission. They're not an OC of mine, but they're very cool. I really dig the style they're going for. Okay, let's do the other eye. Yeah, I quite enjoy varying things like eye style. Like the difference in the shape of eyes is actually enormous. Everyone has very different eyes. So it's a shame you only kind of see the same styles over and over again, especially in video games and stuff. Whoops, didn't mean to jump over that. Aw, call me Karima. Thank you so much. Like like I say, I do really enjoy putting variety into my characters. I do often worry that I suffer from same face syndrome, which is where artists feel like they can only kind of draw one face. So it means a lot to hear that they don't all look the same. There we go. I might need to just enlarge the left eye a tiny bit, so I'm going to do that in one of my favorite tools, which is the Liquify Tool, which is a wonderful little tool in Photoshop that basically lets you click on a point in your art and drag it about. So for example, in this case, rather than having to redraw the whole eye larger, I can just grab the edge of it and just pull to make it a little bigger in different dimensions. And I think it's probably kind of enough. I don't want to overdo it. I just need to make it a little bit larger just so it matches the eye on the other side. Oh yeah, the whole alloy thing was ridiculous. I kind of refused to get involved because I didn't want to give the original poster any more publicity than they already had from the hundreds of people I saw kind of retweeting their terribly bad take. Didn't also need my voice in there. But yes, it was incredibly silly. Just a little curl of hair coming there across the cheek. And then, yeah, we can basically start putting in some more of the hair detail. Now we've done the eyes. So, coming up here, I'm going to go up to a 7, I think. Sometimes with hair, I can go all the way up to like a 9 or a 10. But given that a lot of the hair is obfuscated by the hat, I want to make sure the bits that I do paint have some nice kind of texture and detail going on. So. It was very, very silly. Alright, and we've just got a few kind of stray... This character's got quite wild hair. So we've got a few kind of stray curls and locks coming around the side here. Whoops, didn't mean to grab the blur tool there at all. And then we've got some braids and locks coming down the side here. And those I, again, keep a very light touch with to get the texture the way I want it. Thank you so much to Catalyst G and Frequently Not on Boats for the follows. What a great username. Oh, Adventuring Wardrobe series, that's very cool. And yeah, it's one of those things, when you play Tieflings or any other of the playable lineages with tails, we just kind of ignore the, we'll ignore the logistics of how the tails fit in the clothes. Usually I like to imagine kind of like there's, obviously there's a cut kind of hole. I like to imagine it's like an elastic, kind of, an elasticated band that goes across. So you can comfortably get your tail in and out of your garments, but who knows. Okay, I'm going to drop down to a 6 just to pop the details in of the braid that's coming down here. And when it comes to braids, usually I draw the central kind of ascending zigzag first and then work on the outer bits. So we've got this kind of zigzag, as you can see, each next line starting halfway up the previous one. Now once that's in, then you can start connecting the sides with some nice, gently curving, fairly loose lines. Like so, and then I usually add couple of lines just coming out from the middle where the braid individual pieces are kind of getting squished in. Like so. Can I see how that's looking now without the sketch underneath? And last of all, I'm kind of just going to tie off the braid. Just kind of bind it at the bottom so it's a little lower maintenance for her. There we go. Wonderful, that's one side. Now we shall go down to the other side, and while we're here, we'll pop in the line for the neck. why not also just pop in the line for the collar whilst we're here? A little bit of hatching just to suggest some creases in the fabric, but not going too overboard just yet. Aw, call me Kramer. Enjoy writing that. And again, congratulations. Okay, we've got another large braid here, so once again, I'm just going to pop in those central zigzag lines, making sure not to go and graffiti other areas of the line knot as I go. The large braid coming down there, and then I'll just kind of suggest some loose hair kind of tumbling down in between. Gooseblast, welcome. Yes, this is a very chill vibe stream. Chill vibes on a very hot day. I'm just going to suggest some more kind of braids and tumbling hair coming down behind the main braid there. Maybe just a little stray piece of hair coming down. And there we go, there is the face and the hair. Now I think the next thing to do will be to tackle the hat. So for that I'm going to go up to a 7 and just start with the kind of rim of the hat there. Now I like to imagine this is probably quite a floppy hat. One of those classic floppy pirate hats, you know. Probably quite weather beaten and well used. And as usual, like lots of very small light touch lines. We're not gonna press too hard or try and make too long smooth line at once. Don't even need to get half of these to join up. It's just kind of a guideline for when we do the paintwork. And then I'm just going to that bottom right hand side. This character, I am not actually sure what class they are. I want to say swashbuckler because that makes sense given the fact they're very piratical, but they actually have a more of a longsword type deal, so I'm not sure. Maybe a fighter or a paladin, perhaps. If the commissioner was in stream, I'd get them to, I'd ask them to illuminate, but unfortunately I don't think they are. Okay, there's the kind of rim of the hat. Now we can look at the horns, which are kind of poking through. Have I done Yuan-Ti? I have actually. I have painted a couple of Yuan-Ti characters in the past. Not a huge number by any means, but I have done them. Doing the scales is really lovely. I adore the scale-like patterns. I actually love snakes. I have a big love for snakes IRL, so Yuan-Ti characters are very cool. And yeah, I've never actually played a Yuan-Ti. One day I'll have to rectify that situation. Again, eschewing major details on these horn rings at the moment, that sort of thing will very much come through in the paint layer. And then finally we've got quite a metal kind of cap on the end of the horn over here. this is one place where I will put just a tiny bit of shading on the metal. There we go. And then we've got the main kind of body of the hat coming up here. Just going to jump up to a 7. And then we do have a couple of feathers, just kind of classic. I couldn't resist doing some decorative pirate feathers. And they're coming off the side here. So we will, I think we'll pop them in their own layer. And then we can just barely see the side of the edge of the horn over there. So I'm just going to pop that in. And yeah, let's do the feathers. So I'm going to make a new layer for these details, just so I don't need to worry about going over what we've already done. Jumping down to 6. And again, these aren't going to be perfect, unblemished feathers because, well, they've lived a life adventuring, so some kind of fluffy edges, like so. And then finally we're just going to erase the areas underneath that they're going over the top of, and the areas on top that they are covered up by. And we can merge those down. There we go, there is the face complete. I will quickly pop in just the edge of a kind of slight frown and these eyebrow piercings. The face paint will go on in the paint layer, so we don't need to worry about that just yet. Kind of like the idea of he's looking a little bit like arrowheads for some reason. There we go, let's quickly save. We do not want to lose our progress. And then on with the next part, which I think will be the outer collar of the coat and some of the rest of the coat itself. So let's jump back to a size 7, I think. Yeah, it's quite fun. I really like the variety that I get to paint. A lot, actually. I get to paint quite a lot of characters with lots of piercings. It's quite popular. Perhaps more so than one would think. Alright, this coat has 2 layers of collar. It's very fancy and ostentatious. So that is one side. I'm just gonna follow this line on down. I'm just gonna go down and line the rest of this part of the coat, I think. And indeed, happy Pride, everyone! I hope everyone is able to enjoy it this month and stay safe. And yeah, have a good one, everyone. Remember to support kind of smaller, more grassroots companies if you can. Obviously, we all know how much the big corporations love to shill in for Pride. Alright, there's that side of the coat. Let's continue on the other side. It's got a lot of kind of creases coming down here. These kind of like leather duster jackets that you always get a lot of creasing up around this part, especially if they're not worn closed. Which can be a bit of a pain to work out how it all works when you're kind of drawing it out, but I really recommend just find yourself lots of good reference. If you can pick up these kind of garments at charity shops, it can be really useful to get your own reference. Like take some photographs and stuff. I'm loving all the Pride emotes. They're really good. I have an Aquajo. We don't have Target here in the UK. I'm sure we have a equally cringeworthy equivalent of Target, but I don't know what it would be. Like Primark? Would Primark be our Target equivalent? I don't know, because Target does like hardware and shit as well, doesn't it? Maybe like B&M. I don't know. I miss Woolworths. That would have been our Target, I suppose. See, that doesn't help because Walmart is also one of those shops that seems very like Walmart does groceries, right? But it also does loads of other stuff. So is Walmart more like a department store? I know that Walmart owns Asda now, which is like, I guess we don't have any Walmart stores in the UK, but I know Asda's been bought out by the Walmart group. So I wouldn't know what our equivalent would be. Oh my god, call me Creamer. That's kind of hilarious. You think maybe they've got a basement of millennials somewhere just under threat, like give us topical references to put on our Pride clothing. Alright, you get lots of zigzagging fabric folds when it comes to kind of leather sleeves. And for the most part, you can kind of just wing it and make up where they are and it will look convincing. But it still helps to have reference. Oh dear. It's annoying. The UK doesn't really do that much for Pride. It's like, especially in recent years, like, I don't know, it's like, bleh. We've got a very like right-wing government right now and it's all just a bit lame. Having said that, now this year I live in one of the more progressive cities in the UK, so hopefully there'll be stuff going on. Alright, let's do this, finish this sleeve and the hand. Again, kind of lots of creases and lumps and bumps in leather jackets like this, so. Okay, and now the hand itself. I marked these hands in super roughly, so I might end up changing this. Thank you so much. I think Northwest Games Brazil, is that the right name? Hopefully I got it right. But thank you very much for the follow. I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. I'm gonna give her some slight claws because I love my tieflings ladies with slight claws. Nope, that was not a claw, that was just a weird taper. And there we go. Alright, now, before I do the rest of the coat going down, we're actually going to do the other side. Night Watch. Alright, sorry. I just kind of saw NW and assumed Northwest as like the acronym that came into my mind. Thank you for correcting me. And hey, Blickymore, welcome to the stream. Always lovely to have you here, my friend. Alright, so the other side of this collar. And then we'll do the kind of shirt, the blouse, and the oh, bodice. That's the word. I forgot the word for a second. This jacket just has so many lapels. It has like a triple lapel thing going on. But you know, when you're a pirate tiefling, you know, you want to do these things. You need to prove that you're the baddest tiefling pirate around. So what do? You go and add 6 lapels onto your jacket. I don't make the rules, but I hear that's how it goes. Alright, let's do the bottom one down here. The fabric has kind of folded over itself a bit. Reconfusion 69, thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you. Alright, now we just put the edging on that lapel. You can see the coat is starting to come together. Let's do as we did before. We'll go down and work on the other sleeve before we look at the blouse. And thank you very much to Joey Kozica for the follow. I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream. Oops, let's just move that up a bit so I can actually join this up to the shoulder. What program do I use? I'm using Adobe Photoshop CC. It is whatever the current Adobe product is. I find that it's a very solid art program. It helps mimic kind of like traditional art, which is how I learned to paint originally. But I also hear wonderful things about Clip Studio Paint, and Clip Studio Paint doesn't have the subscription model, so to a lot of people it's a lot better value for money. So it really kind of depends on, you know, your background and what sort of thing you want to get into. Obviously Photoshop's useful for loads of other stuff, like obviously photo stuff, but yeah, it all kind of depends on what your art jam is. Alright, there's some nice creases on that other sleeve. Let's do the cuff and the hand. Oh, well, I do try and get people's names right. I do stumble, but I try to apologize and will always give it another go if you correct me. So I'm very pleased I got that one right. And thank you very much to Azroark for the follow as well. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. We are painting feral tiefling pirates. Quite specific, but you know, this is what the people want. Have I ever purchased any external brush packs? Absolutely. I've actually done that a lot. Let me just run you through some of the brushes I have. As a rule, I usually just use the general brushes tab. However, there are a lot of other ones that I use. This set, the Evident Concept Art Brush Pack, you can find it on DeviantArt and Gumroad. It has a fantastic selection of brushes, from really nice textural paint, like traditional paint style brushes, to really cool concept art brushes like clouds, smoke, rocks, mountains, trees. It's just a really cool brush pack. So that's probably one of the ones I would recommend. Stars, I get, you know, little things like that. Chains, got a good pack for chains there. And the other one I always recommend on stream is the Luinifer brushes, which again you can Google, and I think they're on Gumroad, so you can throw a bit of cash to the creator and show them you appreciate their stuff, because it's a really cool brush pack. But yeah, as a general rule, I mostly just use default Photoshop brushes for almost all of the stuff I do. Occasionally, when I'm doing more scenery stuff, when I do that, I don't do it that often, but I will use some more textural brushes from like the Evidence set. Okay, let's draw that of the hand in. And once again, I'm going to give her some little, just some little tiefling claws. nothing too crazy. Oops. And then the little fingers just poking in at the back. There we go. And we'll save the hilt of her very cool longsword for later for now. When can I start throwing money at you again? I will hopefully be opening commissions again soon. It's been a bit of a weird one to try and work out when I can open them properly, purely because I've been so busy lately with all sorts of things and house stuff, that it's been difficult to be able to take any new work on. I've also had some new contract work come in, which is really exciting. It's torture that I can't talk about it because NDAs. But I'm very almost done with my queue right now. This is one of the last pieces. I will be uploading a finished character that you will undoubtedly recognize from previous streams tonight, who is finally finished. And yeah, it's not long now until I will have got through my entire queue, so I will need to take some more commissions then, even if it's not the super large detailed options. Which I'm definitely going to have to restrict how many of the full body painterly style that I can take on this time, because I've got a lot to do. NDAs are super difficult, yeah, but you know, it'll be super exciting when I can talk about stuff. I'll just be shouting into the void and talking about it all the time, because I am very excited about the projects that I'm involved with. Get lots of creases for the blouse, tucking into the bodice there. And very true, do not forget to save. Saving is very big and very clever. That's right, Morval. I will definitely be having plenty of that option available. You can count on that. There we go, there is the blouse kind of lined in. Now we will move down to the bodice. And then we've just got a few belts covering it over down here, so I'll just leave that line there for now, and instead we'll work on these kind of internal lines. And in fact, I'm just going to do them all the way down. I'm going to follow these lines all the way down, ignoring the buckles for now. Okay, you can see how it looks like without the sketch underneath. And then I'm going to make a new layer above to do these detailed little buckles. And we're going to drop all the way down to a size 5. And I'm going to start with the buckle itself. Just going to zoom in a tiny bit. And the rule of thumb is usually with buckles, the little bar is the opposite end to the tail. At least I think it is. I get confused. I get it the wrong way around a lot. But I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. But yeah, I definitely messed that one up quite a lot from time to time. So I might be wrong. In which case, I just double check at the end and correct it if I have made a mistake. Three little bolts to hold it in. Or rivets, I should say. Okay, and then the next one. It is so warm. I just don't handle heat waves well at all. Wow. Hot, hot, hot. We had some blissful rain earlier and it just didn't last long at all. I should be grateful really because really I want no rain so I can work in the garden, but whew, I am just so bad when it gets really warm. The other problem is it's hard to work when it gets really hot because my tablet puts out quite a lot of heat as well, so my office just becomes an absolute sauna. Alright, halfway there with these. If I was feeling very lazy, I could copy and paste and just resize them, but because they kind of get thinner as you go down, I kind of want to hand draw each one. Ooh, remember to stretch your hand when you're working on stuff like this. It's very easy to cramp up. And then this side. And finally, the last buckle down here. See, the other problem with when it's really warm, sometimes my tablet just will miss out some of a line and I'll get these weird, see like that, it's just left out a chunk there. It only ever does this when it's hot. I don't know why. Any tech experts in the chat are welcome to illuminate me, because it is mightily inconvenient. And finally, just the last corner here. Did I get to play any D&D over the weekend? I did. We played a lot of VTM on Saturday night, so I had some friends over to visit, and it was really wonderful. It was my first in-person TTRPG game since before the pandemic, so that was absolutely delightful. I brought in my an old character of mine who I've updated for VTM 5th edition. Her name is Darcy. She is of Clan Ravnos. The new version of Clan Ravnos, not the old one, because the old one came with a heap of issues. But it was really fun. You know, it's one of those classic times when introducing a new character campaign can take a little while to kind of integrate them in, and VTM being what it is, no one trusts anyone, so it's always a lot of fun. So yeah, that was great, and then we had an impromptu mini kind of social session of my Legend of the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords campaign, which is the one I'm playing my my Dhampir Druid in. We had a little impromptu social session of that on Monday, which was really, really lovely. We were bringing a new character in who couldn't join us for the first session. And it's just a lovely setting. We had a great time with that one. The bar should really be on this side. There we go. So yeah, I had a pretty TTRPG filled weekend actually, which is lovely. I definitely miss playing in person. I want to do it all the time now, but I can. But the other problem, of course, with D&D is often players live hundreds of miles away from each other, so we do what we can. Alright, nice big pirate belts are the name of the day. I'm still a 5. I should really jump up to at least a 6. Gosh, it's a good thing my style is made up of lots of little lines, otherwise this random line dropping would get much more annoying. is one side. Let's just finish it outside the belt. Draw that along. There we go, it's doing it again. It's very strange behavior, very strange indeed. And finally, the other, you can just about see the tip of this belt here, as most self-respecting pirates do. This particular character is wearing like lots of belts. There's one there. And another one over here. We might as well just go all the way down and do the trousers. Or should we? Maybe we should finish the coat first. I think the coat needs to be done. It's important to finish the coat. So, we will grab a size 7, we'll go up a size to do this, and just draw down this long edge line of the coat. And thank you so much to Nico Oates for the follow. Thank you so much, Call Me Kramer. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and yeah, enjoy the that kind of run-off excitement that comes when you get that job offer. Oops, come on there, Photoshop. This is just line art. Don't know what you're throwing a tizzy about. My computer's just like, oh, it's too hot. We can't possibly work anymore. I know that feeling, but we must persevere. Alright, there is the side of the coat. All there. And let's work on down the side of the trousers. Sylvanix. So, funnily you should say that. NDA, sadly. But I have lately drawn rather a lot of rather more horrible beasties. I just can't show them to you yet. I'm very excited to be able to. But for now, especially on stream, I can't really work on any of that stuff. So mostly on stream I work on commissions, which, you know, they tend to be people's personal characters, so it's understandable that they're all quite kind of badass and cute looking. But if you look at my portfolio, I've done quite a lot of kind of horror style monster designs. I love doing creature design. The spookier and nastier the better. Which is why I'm very excited for this project I'm working on at the moment. It's alright, a lot of the time NDAs can go on for months and months and months. I've got a project that I just started actually that I won't be able to tell people about probably until January of next year. January 2022. But that's how the cookie crumbles in the industry. And thank you so much to Commune DM for the follow. I hope you enjoy the stream. Alright, big pirate buckle there, like every pirate needs. And then just little holes that run along the length. Okay, there's the sketch down there. What's that? Oh, that's the wings. We will get to the wings when we get to them. And then finally the other side of the belt just disappearing under the side of the coat. we can hit the trousers. So you're actually nearly there with the main body line up, which is awesome. Alright, so we've got some cool kind of texture on the trousers over this side, so I'm just gonna work that in. I really like textured trousers. They just look cool. I wish I had more. Oh, come on, Photoshop. Come on. It's just too hot. It's so warm. Oh, we're still on a 6. That's probably half the reason it's taking forever. Okay, there is that line coming down there. Just going to do the inner kind of decorative bits. There we go. And then just the lines coming across. These I will probably just do in one go, because if I don't, I'll be here all freaking day. Ooh, Photoshop. Move on down. Nope. Okay, that is the one side. The other side we'll get to in a second. For now, I'm just going to pop in the other edge of the line of the trousers. I'm going to save again because we don't want to lose everything. We really don't. Then we've got just a seam line coming in there, and then actual creases coming in from the crotch. Kind of see how it's looking without the sketch underneath. And then we'll do the other side. Oops, the line's getting a little bit too wide down there. So, alright, now once again, just drawing the horizontal bits. Change my shoulder angle for some of these. One of the biggest pieces of advice I always used to get when doing like live drawing and stuff is pivot on your elbow, not on your wrist. But unfortunately, when you don't have a massive tablet, you don't get given much of a choice in the matter. Nice, okay. And then we're just going to get that little bit coming up there, and that coming up there. Wunderbar, there is the trousers. So what I can do down here, I'm just going to suggest the left edge of the coat, and some little creases coming from that. And the last thing on the body side of things to pop in will be the long kind of curved sword that she's holding. So we shall do that. I'm just going to go in with an eraser to tidy up some of these lines. Oops. Photoshop jumping me around as usual. And then we have the hilt up here. And it is a long sword, so the hilt's quite long. I mean, that makes sense. Oh, come on, Photoshop. You don't need to do this to me. There we go. And then finally, the blade. Oh, and also her tail. Tail and the wings we will do in a second. No, I can't even draw a curve right now. There we go. That's almost perfect. There we go. Whoops. Just yanked out my headphones cable. Boink. Thanks so much, Leza, for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I will hopefully catch you on Friday. For everyone who is new to the channel, I usually stream Wednesdays and Fridays about the same time. So starting 5 PM UK time, which I believe is noon EST, although I might be mistaken, what with daylight savings and all of that jazz. Alright, cool. There is the main body all lined up and ready to go. So the next thing to do are the wings and the tail. So I believe, I'm going to start with the wings. So let's get rid of the tail. It might just confuse things. And what I will do before we do the wings is I'm just going to essentially take all these layers we just did, merge them together so that we don't have a bazillion layers to worry about. Then I'm going to turn the opacity on the wings right down. Make a new, I'm actually going to start naming some of these. So I'm going to have line art, wings lines, and yeah, we're just going to get cracking with the wing line art. Now, when it comes to wings, I tend to leave the line art fairly loose because most of the shape and the shading is going to come in the paint layer, and the paint layer does most of the heavy lifting when it comes to accessories such as wings. So I'm going to jump up to a size 9. And just start popping in the basic structure of these bad boys. And I kind of imagine that this character has like a very large kind of gash in the back of their coat. These wings will be kind of protruding through. Photoshop, we playing? Are we playing today? Are we working together? I'm just going to basically give a little bit of a flesh tube for the claws to spring from there. And to kind of give the impression that these are almost like knuckle bones, I add a bit of kind of hatching shading there. And then again, to make these claws look extra kind of gnarly, often I'll do some lines that kind of run along the length, kind of starting from where they attach in to the, what would usually be kind of like a thumb area, if you imagine the wings kind of like a hand. That's often a really good way to imagine wings, especially kind of the more bat-like style wings. They often have the structure of similar to a hand. Obviously, when you look at things like bats, the bat wing is basically just a super evolved hand. So it makes sense that bat wings on a tiefling would behave in a similar way. Although it's a bit kind of gross. They have just huge spindly hands coming out from their backs. But also quite metal, so you know. Alright, there is one fingertip. do the outside edge next, I think. And you can kind of treat wings similar to clothing, like you get similar folds in the skin the same way you would with a leather garment. Like all things will kind of adhere to similar rules, so wings very much behave, especially, I guess, as I say, bat wings behave a lot like leather. Okay, thank you so much to Zacophinacus and Honey Wasps for the follow. I hope you enjoy the stream. I'm going to add a few kind of little holes and pot marks where these wings have gone through the wars. Because, you know, this is a battle-hardened tiefling. Right, so we've kind of got, I'm just going to do this bit now. There's almost a little extra joint here where we have another one of these tines coming down. Just to get that structure in nice and early. Okay, once again, checking without the sketch is a good thing to do nice and often. Kind of, it's a good habit to get into. Alright, nearly there with the left hand wing. Let's just pop in this nice long spindly claw coming down. Thank you so much, Sylvanix, for the donation. That's incredibly kind. Thank you so very much. And yeah, I'm super happy you enjoyed the stream, so thank you so much. Alright, we've got another claw coming here. We can't quite see kind of like the knuckle bone it's coming from, so we're just going to have the detail of the claw coming down. And then this part actually disappears behind the arm, so we're not going to quite see what's going on there. But I will stick in another kind of hole in the membrane because it's spicy. Alright, there we have Uno Wing complete, apart from just this little patch of stretched skin down here, which I'll just pop in. There we go. Right, now we need to give the other wings some care and attention. Okay, so very similar to before. Actually, I need to mirror. So a little bit of skin that's going to come down there. Lovely. So mirroring the style we were kind of using for these muscular elements and kind of joints. We have a situation where we have another one of these kind of extra joints that comes down. Almost like some kind of support strut for the wing itself. And then the rest of this kind of arm bone come up here. We kind of want to show as well there's kind of stretch in the skin membrane going on. Just make sure that claw roughly matches up to the other one. It's a bit too big, so I am going to take it down a bit. There we go. Lovely, that'll do. And then we have kind of like this almost hump of bone as it comes up and the fingers curl downwards. It's kind of, in some ways, kind of gross, but I also find it kind of fascinating. I'm a massive nerd for all this sort of kind of anatomy. Alright, and then this finger bone is this time going to come in front of the arm. Like so. And then, of course, we're going to get the long spindly claws cutting across the wrist here. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Trim back where they line up, got a bit messy there. And one of the problems here is that this spine is actually way too big. So I'm going to jump into Liquify. This will also help us kind of consolidate the two wings, see them easy at the same time. I am going to just shorten that spine there. I love the Liquify Tool. It's so useful for repositioning things without making you have to restart like whole areas of your drawing. So I really recommend that one. Okay, and then just continuing the outer finger down the side here. And thank you so much to Nitlin, I hope I say that right. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so we're gonna have the claw beginning around there. Alrighty, and then let's just pop the claw in itself, and then we can worry about the rest of the wing. And then we're almost done with this line art. Okay, so now we are needing to join these two areas here with a membrane between the two parts. Not worrying right now about what's going in front of what. At the end of the day, this is why we keep things on different layers, so we can come back and fix all that stuff later. Okay. Just a few kind of textural lines to, again, show the pull of the skin-like leathery texture. There we go. And while we're here, some more of these little kind of holes in the membrane itself. Okay, wonderful. So the next thing to do is this kind of back spine here. It's already mostly hidden behind the hand. Which has kind of membrane coming down from up here. almost parallel actually with the front area. Though not quite. Again, we'll have some more of these little kind of holes. Okay, and then finally, the last few bits. Here, and then we can see where this sort of bone is coming down, so we should put that in. Even if it's just very lightly. And then finally, we have a membrane coming off of this, whoops, wrong tool there, and attaching into the body at the back. Okay, wonderful. We have both wings now finished, so we can turn off the wing sketch layer, and we can switch over to the tail, the very last thing we need to line. So I'm going to make a new layer for that. I'm going to call it tail. And the music's getting intense. Let's just turn the opacity right down there. And just draw the tail. Now this will be a lot easier than a lot of the stuff we've been doing. Tidying up the line art in a few places as we go, just so we don't have to do it later. Again, tidy, tidy, tidy. And that's a bit wide. We need that to come in a bit closer. There we go. And then finally, the barbed tip of the tail itself. Tidying up that little tip there and turning off the sketch, and then the final things to do will be just erasing parts where things are overlapping. So for example, this front spike is actually going to come over the top of the character. Same on the other side over here. Hey, thank you so much to MWBDZ for the follow. And then over this side, it's the wing that's actually going to be behind the hand. So we're going to get rid of the wing lines that are obfuscated by the hand there. Okay, and with that, we have an entire line art basically done. So the next thing to do, I'm actually going to, whilst the tail I am going to merge with the body, I'm going to keep the wings separate because the wings are quite a big deal to paint when we get that far. So they are going to be on their own kind of layer. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can get a good kind of look at what we've been working on today. We did the whole line art, which is super good. Yeah, it's just some real good progress, really. And I will. Oh, I've just seen an area I need to. This little claw here. It is going to be in front of the sword, so we do need to erase these lines here. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think based on the fact that I need to go make some food, and I'm DMing a game of D&D tonight, I am going to call the stream there a little bit earlier than normal, but I am exceedingly hungry. So. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I'm going to pop some links in chat, starting off with my Twitter. Twitter is the best place to follow what I'm doing. It's where I tend to post about streams, giveaways, all that kind of thing. So do drop me a follow on there. I also have an Instagram for artwork and costumes and miniature painting and stuff like that. So check that out if any of that is your jam. Next, ArtStation is the place to go if you just want to see my portfolio. Simple as that. And the music I've used on my stream today is all by an artist named Kai Engel, who does really cool royalty-free stuff, so do please check out their work. Okay, wonderful. YouTube, I have a variety of my VODs go up on YouTube. I'm a little bit behind uploading them at the moment. I popped some up last week. I will try and catch up on my current streams, get those all up on YouTube very soon. And finally, if you would like to support my stream, the best way to do that is to either subscribe here on Twitch, which honestly makes a huge difference to small streamers like me, or you can subscribe to my Patreon, where there are a variety of other bonuses, such as exclusive artwork, all that kind of thing. Like, you get commission priority as well, stuff like that, and at the higher tiers you can get monthly sketches from me straight to you of your own character. So, I think that is everything. Nice little short, sweet stream this afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will be back on Friday at 5 PM UK time for more of this, and potentially even working on some more on this character. So until then, look after yourselves and look after each other, and I will see you very